In Dragon Ball Super Superhero, Gohan has once again unlocked his potential and become a real beast of a warrior. So today we celebrate the past and the present with the brand new Then, Now, Forever Gohan line of merch. Maybe the best Gohan art ever released. Get it today on a t-shirt, get it on a hoodie, mouse pad, whatever you want. The link is in the description. This is something you don't want to miss out on for a limited time. Ships anywhere in the world in multiple colors and sizes. Don't wait, get yours today. These will only be available for a limited time. Alright, so let's go back to Dragon Ball Z and look at Gohan's absolute dominance after he transforms. Now, I know a lot of people refer to this version of Gohan as Teen Gohan because Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 calls him that, but he's not a teen. He's either 9, 10, or 11 years old, depending on what translation you follow, and whether or not you believe that when he was in the Room of Spirit and Time, that counts as him aging up a year. So, at the oldest, he's 11, and there's no such thing as 11 teen, alright? So, Teen Gohan does not exist, at least not until the Buu arc, but let me tell you, this Gohan would be more than happy to smash anybody between the age of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to 80 if you threaten his family or the Earth. You know what I'm talking about? And we saw it again in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, but this was when we really saw him unleash. I need you to open up your books or pop in your DVD or go to your streaming services and head on over to Dragon Ball Z episode 185. And if you're reading the manga, that correlates to Dragon Ball manga chapter 408, Son Gohan Explodes. Now, I will say this. I saw the anime version literally years before I saw the manga version, but this is one of the few times where even though the Dragon Ball Z anime was way more violent and gory than the current Dragon Ball stuff in the modern era, the manga has it even more gory. But if you've only seen this on Toonami, let me tell you, you had an even more homogenized and censored version of these events. So first of all, the episode opens up with Gohan finishing his transformation. Now, some have asked if he's just doing it over again because the producers that animated this episode did not work on the previous one, and the answer to that is yes, that's exactly why. But it still looks cool because it takes longer for Gohan to power up, and it feels much more like a traditional Z transformation, whereas the previous one was more like the manga. So when the dust clears, here we have the first appearance officially, even though there was some foreshadowing, the first final appearance of what was known at the time as Super Saiyan Grade 5, but later on in the Buu arc would be renamed Super Saiyan 2, which is the Super Saiyan beyond Super Saiyan. We're not going to use that whole ascended word here because that gets confusing for a lot of people. So we're going to call it what it's actually called, and that is SS2. Now, the first absolutely alpha moment, and I will say this about the word alpha. There's very few kids that are actually alpha. How many 11-year-olds do you know that are this alpha? Now, in some ways, it's not really alpha, but boy, does Gohan do a lot of alpha things. Let me get back to what I was saying. The first alpha thing he does is he walks right up to Cell, the dude who just took it to his dad, who took it to Vegeta before, took it to freaking Trunks, took it to everybody, the embodiment of perfection. He walks up to him and snatches the fucking Senzu beans out of his hands like your mom snatched the controller out of your hands when you were misbehaving playing Nintendo as a kid. That's what happened right now, folks. That's what just happened to him. Cell didn't even know what happened, which means that Gohan was so fast with his hand skills, which, you know, he was about to go through some puberty, so he'd be really working them hands a lot, if you know what I'm saying. But before then, he snatched the freaking bag away from Cell because he knew, homeboy, you ain't gonna give your children any of these beans because they don't belong to you, they belong to me and my friends. And then the massacre begins in only what can be described as the Dragon Ball Z version of the Odyssey, when Odysseus returns home and slaughters all of the suitors that tried to that embarrassed his son and tried to fuck his wife. No, Gohan does his version of this, taking the Cell Juniors one by one and slaughtering them ruthlessly, callously, not giving a fuck. Look at this first one right here. Boom! See you later. We see decapitations. We see bodies being split in half. And if you go to the manga, it's even more gory because there's guts coming out. And dude, if you haven't read the manga, bro, like y'all gotta at least check out this chapter if you haven't read the manga. And if you've only seen it in English or on Toonami, they would just cut to the puff of smoke. They wouldn't even show you the head being lobbed off or the body being split in half. Gohan was not fucking around. Look at this. He goes up to this Cell Jr. Boom! Who's your daddy, Cell Jr.? Oh wait, we know who your daddy is, bro. That's Cell. But you know what? He's about to get it up the rectum. Once Gohan gets done with these punks, he's gonna go handle those motherfuckers. I love the one that holds Krillin hostage and has his little fingernails come out and tries to scare Gohan into backing away like some kind of a bank robber, and Gohan's a cop. That's not gonna fly in this neighborhood. Gohan knows that he has literally multiple times the speed and power that they do to where he's one-shotting them. Now, take a look at this power scaling for just a minute, alright? Here these Cell Juniors were rocking all of the Z fighters, not just Tenshin Han and Yamcha. No, they're sitting there putting hands on Goku, on Vegeta, on Trunks. You would think that Vegeta and Trunks could handle their own against these Cell Juniors, and maybe with a bit more time they could have, but Gohan's just going in there embarrassing and humiliating each and every one of them by one-shotting them without hesitation. Damn, this is a good fucking episode, yo. Good Lord! Have mercy on me, Toriyama. And of course, credit is where credit is due. I gotta give credit to a guy who's very controversial, but Tadayoshi Yamamuro. I know everybody hates modern Yamamuro. Yamamuro was the lead key animator and animation supervisor for this episode, and man, did he do a great job. Yoshihiro Ueda directed it, and he did another great job. My other awesome favorite part of this episode is when the Cell Juniors decide, okay, we're gonna have to use our strength in numbers, so they surround Gohan. This motherfucker Gohan takes the bag of senzu beans, throws them up in the air, and then knocks each of these four Cell Juniors on their ass before catching it again. That's some fucking Harlem Globetrotter shit. That's some fucking David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear in the 90s shit. That's a magic show right out of freaking Vegas, bro. And Gohan just does it without breaking a sweat. And then these Cell Juniors, rather than doing the smart thing and running away, or maybe even trying to self-destruct, I mean, Cell Juniors are kind of like Cybermen, right? So why not just blow yourself up and see how good you go? No, they're gonna try and use the other Z Fighters' techniques on Gohan. But it doesn't matter, because Gohan's strength at this point is so far and away beyond any of these punks that nothing hurts him. Nothing gets through. Nothing. It's literally a waste of time. And then Gohan, and let's keep this in mind, he is still a kid. So he's tired of playing with these little miniature Cell toys. He's tired of it. So he decides to put the finishing blow on the last remaining Cell Juniors. Now, a lot of folks have talked about this for many years, and it does bear worth mentioning here. Yes, there is an error in the Dragon Ball Z anime. In the original Dragon Ball Z anime, not Kai, not any of the other stuff, or in the manga, Gohan does indeed kill 8 Cell Juniors instead of 7. Yes, he kills 8 instead of 7. It was an animation mistake, so even though Yamamuro did a good job with the episode, it's funny that this actually made air and that the directors and the showrunners didn't catch it. That's always been cool, but you know what? More death and destruction and payback against Cell, I'm all for it. And then Gohan, after disposing of all of his children, goes face to face with Cell, and Cell realizes that he's changed and that now he's in for the fight of his existence. And it's all because he kept pushing Gohan and trying our boy. And then stepping on 16 after 16 told Gohan, dude, stop screwing around, let it out. When he did that, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. A lot of folks have always asked, like, well, wait a minute, Does Gohan really care about 16? It's not so much about 16 and Gohan's connection to him. It's more so about the fact that what 16 said resonates with Gohan because he is an Earthling. And not just that, he's also half human. So unlike Goku and Vegeta, whose thrill is just to really enjoy competition for the most part, Gohan actually does care about what 16 said. And that is what pushed him, because that was the last straw. Gohan realized that Cell stepped on 16. Both of them had the same creator, so in a weird way, 16 and Cell are kind of like brothers, right? Think about that from that perspective. So Gohan knew that I gotta take this dude out now. But even then, he still jerked around. But I'll leave that for a future video. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Highlights. And next time that you're feeling bummed out, go back and watch this episode of Dragon Ball Z again, or read the manga because it's real violent. Have a nice one.